Have you ever thought about turning that unused space in your home into a money maker? Whether it's a spare room, a cozy little cottage, or even a comfy living room corner, renting out space on Airbnb could be your golden ticket to some extra cash. But before we jump in, let's break down the top 7 things you need to know to get started. By the end of this video, you'll see that making money with Airbnb is easier than deciding what to binge on Netflix next. Number 7. Know the rules before you play the game. Let's start with something super important. Regulations. Rules aren't fun, but are the foundation of your Airbnb success. It's like getting ready for a road trip. You wouldn't hit the highway without knowing the speed limits or ensuring your car in a good shape, right? The same goes for Airbnb. First, get a handle on the Airbnb regulations in your city. This isn't just about avoiding fines or legal trouble. It's about setting yourself up for long-term success. Just search Google for Airbnb regulations and your city name. Most cities have pages, often on Airbnb site, that outline all the do's and don'ts. And here's the tip. Even in towns with the strict rules, there are usually some loopholes. Think of it like finding that secret shortcut in a video game that takes you straight to the prize. For instance, some places might have tough rules about short-term rentals, but they could have exceptions for longer stays or specific areas. Do your homework now and you'll save yourself many headaches later. Number 6. Find the right property. So you're all set to start your Airbnb journey, but where do you begin? Check out Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, or Zillow to find potential spots. Don't just grab the first place you see. Take your time, check out different neighborhoods, and consider what makes the property stand out. Is it close to popular tourist spots? Does it have a unique charm that guests will love? These are the questions you need to be asking yourself. Here's a pro tip. Looking for properties that have been on the market for a while. The longer they've been listed, the more desperate the landlord might be to rent them out. And that's your chance to swoop in and save the day. Imagine finding a place empty for a month. The landlord is probably stressing out. You can offer them a solution that stops the bleeding and brings in profit. You're not just renting, you're rescuing the situation. And hey, some landlords might even be open to negotiation rent or terms if you can show them how your plan will bring in steady income. Number 5. Renting out rooms can be a goldmine. Maybe you already own a home but have some extra space, a room, a basement, or maybe even a tiny house in the backyard. Renting out rooms can be a goldmine, and it's one of the easiest ways to get started with Airbnb without diving into the deep end. Think of that spare room as an untapped resource, just sitting there waiting to make you money. Picture this: you have a mortgage of $2,400 a month. But by renting out just one room for $900, you've already cut your mortgage by more than a third. That's like getting a monthly discount just for having an extra room. Now, if you rent out 2 rooms, you only pay $600 out of pocket. That's like finding extra cash in your pockets every month. But let's take it a step further. What if you rent out even more rooms? The math is simple. The more rooms you rent, the more money you make. And here's the best part. If you're unsure where to start, try renting to someone you know. Renting to a friend, a coworker, or a family member can be way less stressful than dealing with a stranger. Plus, it's a great way to dip your toes into property rental. And with each new tenant, you're gaining experience, learning the ropes, and getting better at managing your space. Number 4. The power of negotiation. You've probably heard this saying, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And it's true. Once you found the property or room you want to rent, it's time to flex those negotiation muscles. Whether you're dealing with a landlord or negotiation with a potential tenant, this is where you can make a difference. Let's say you found a property perfect for short-term rentals. The landlord is asking for $2,500 a month, but you've crunched the numbers and know that this place could bring in $4,000 a month with Airbnb. This is where your negotiation skills come into play. Show the landlord a detailed report outlining how much more they could make by letting you Airbnb their property versus traditional renting. It's like offering someone a plain cheese pizza or a fully loaded one for the same price. Who wouldn't go for the fully loaded option? And don't be shy about asking what you want. Maybe you can negotiate a lower rent in exchange for a longer lease or get the landlord to to cover some of the maintenance costs. The key is to go into negotiations with confidence and a clear plan. Remember, the worst they can say is no, and even then, you're not any worse off than you were before. Number 3. Get creative with financing. Let's talk about money, everyone's favorite topic. If buying a property isn't in the cards right now, don't stress. There are still plenty of ways to get in on the Airbnb action. Have you heard of rental arbitrage? It's where you rent a property long term and then sublet it on Airbnb for short-term stays. You pocket the difference and boom! You're making money without owning the place. It's like being the middleman, but for real estate. And don't forget about partnerships. Joining forces with someone else to buy a property can cut your financial burden in half while doubling your resources. You might find that one partner handles the financing. At the same time, the other manages the property, creating a perfect balance of skills and investment. The key is to think outside the box. Your wallet will thank you later. Number 2. Maximize your profit with smart pricing. So you've got your place, figured out the rules, and are ready to start making money. But how do you ensure you get the most bang for your buck? Pricing, my friend, is where the magic happens. Use dynamic pricing tools like Price Labs to adjust your rates based on demand. It's like Uber search pricing. When demand is high, your price goes up, and when it's low, you stay competitive. But smart pricing isn't just about setting a high rate and crossing your fingers. It's about understanding your market, keeping an eye on your competition, and staying on top of trends. For instance, if you're in a popular tourist area, your rates might need to spike during the peak season. But in the off-season, you might need to drop your prices a bit to keep those bookings rolling in. The goal is to keep your place full while making a good profit. Remember to check in regularly. Airbnb pricing is like stock market. You must monitor and adjust it as needed. And remember, a little flexibility can go a long way. A full calendar at slightly lower rates is better than an empty one with sky-high rates. You might also want to offer discounts for longer stays or last-minute bookings to keep that cash flowing. Number 1. Prepare, list, and profit. Here we go, the big one. Setting up and listing your space. This is where all your hard work pays off. First things first, make sure your space looks amazing, literally. Your listing photos are your first impression, which can make or break your success on Airbnb. So hire a professional photographer who can make your space shine. Think about the little details that can make your listing stand out. Maybe it's that cozy reading nook by the window, the stunning view from the balcony, or the chic decor that gives your space a unique vibe. Highlight these features in your photos and your listing description. And hey, be honest, overselling your space might get you bookings, but it could also lead to disappointing guests and bad reviews. Next, it's time to create a killer listing. Highlight what makes your space special. The comfy atmosphere, the location close to local hotspots, or fantastic coffee shop down the street. Ensure you fill out every part of your listing, from amenities and house rules to check-in instructions. The more details you provide, the more confident guests will be about booking your place. And don't forget the house manual. Guests love having all the information they need at their fingertips. Starting your Airbnb journey might seem overwhelming initially. Still, with these steps, you're well on turning that extra space into a steady income stream. Remember, it's all about being prepared, having a strategy, and getting creative. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to get out and start making your space work for you. Watch our previous video here. And hey, if you found this guide helpful, why not hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on making money and living your best life. Team Token is here with you every step of the way. Happy hosting!